First question we have today, excuse me, is from Becky from Naples. Becky asked me a generic question of how can I stop the foreclosure process? Answer is yes, but there's multiple ways to do it. Now, I'm going to assume that I'm not going to assume Becky's question about anything. I'm going to try to answer it two ways for Becky so that in case she's in one set of circumstances, we can help her, and if there's another set of circumstances, we can help her. First, let's say I'm assuming she's in the foreclosure process and she wants to stop it. The first question I would ask her is, have you gone to mediation? Is this your primary residence? If it is, you have the right in the 20th Judicial Circuit to go to a mediation. Sit down at a mediation with your mortgage company and see if you can hash out the details. If there's any way they're willing to work with you to let you start catching up, modifying the mortgage, doing something, maybe lowering the interest rate, lower the principal, to get you back to bring this loan either current or get it on a path to become current again and help you save your home. That would be one way of stopping the foreclosure process. Number two, if you've got a legitimate reason to fight the foreclosure process, then by all means, you want to go see an attorney and get your answer or affirmative defenses, do whatever you need to do to fight this foreclosure. There's a lot of foreclosures which need to be fought in Southwest Florida, and my opinion is there's a lot more that should be fought but aren't being fought. So you would want to get yourself to see an attorney who can help you with your mortgage-related questions, and then if there's a legitimate reason to fight that foreclosure, fight it. Now, fighting it and slowing it down or stopping it are two different things. When you're fighting the foreclosure, what you're doing is moving through the litigation process and doing whatever discovery needs to be done, getting your questions answered about what type of mortgage it is, how did it go through the process. There's a multitude of questions that need to be answered. You're not stopping the process. What you're doing is utilizing the process. And then we go into the other part of it is, let's say, for example, she was talking about stopping the foreclosure process with using a bankruptcy. See, at our firm, we use bankruptcy and non-bankruptcy solutions to help people with their financial problems. That's why I'm kind of bifurcating this question into two different circumstances of how we can attack it. If she wants to use a bankruptcy to stop the foreclosure, you got to remember there's two different types of consumer bankruptcies. Number one is a Chapter 7. If this young lady, it was Becky, if Becky files a Chapter 7 bankruptcy, the bankruptcy would create, or the filing of the bankruptcy creates an automatic stay. The automatic stay suspends the foreclosure process immediately. I mean immediately. As soon as that bankruptcy is filed in federal court, that state court lawsuit has to stop until such time as either the automatic stay expires or the creditor goes to bankruptcy court, asks for permission from the bankruptcy judge to continue the foreclosure sale. Now, stopping the foreclosure process is half the battle. The bankruptcy filing will do that. The question is whether or not Becky wants to keep the house and work with the creditor, or she wants to surrender it. If her intention is to surrender that property in the Chapter 7, well then the creditor is going to come to court, ask for permission, say, hey, judge, she's anticipated that she's going to surrender, or she's indicated that she's going to surrender this property. Can I go and finish my foreclosure? And the court is going to have to say, sure, based upon the debtor's intention to surrender the property, go finish your foreclosure and take the house back. So the automatic stay or the filing of the bankruptcy will stop it. Now it depends upon the creditor how fast they want to go to bankruptcy court, get that relief from stay to continue the foreclosure. A lot of times in Chapter 7, or when an individual files 7, the creditor will wait till the end of the bankruptcy. Now you're talking about 6 months until you get what's called a discharge. Once the debtor gets a discharge, the automatic stay is now over. Okay? So then, at that point in time, the creditor, meaning the mortgage company, can continue on with the foreclosure process unless there's been a deal struck or something's worked out where that case, the state court foreclosure case, should be dismissed. Part 3 of that question is, what happens if the person files a Chapter 13 bankruptcy? Well, that's a little different story. Now you've got to look to the intention of the debtor. Does the debtor want to keep that property? If the intention of the debtor is to keep that property and pay it directly, then there is no automatic stay in our jurisdiction. If the debtor is going to surrender that property, there is no automatic stay in our jurisdiction. So in Chapter 13, even though when you file the bankruptcy, the automatic stay goes into place, pursuant to our rules and the court orders that are in place, standing orders that are in place, there is no automatic stay. It gets extinguished almost automatically so that the creditor can continue on. So from that perspective, Becky's question was, can I stop the foreclosure process? The answer is yes and no. Kind of like last show, everything was yes and no. I just want to make sure you're informed, and hopefully that answers Becky's question, because it was a very complicated question from where I sit, because I want to make sure I'm answering her question properly. But all in all, a great question. So thank you, Becky. I appreciate you sending it in.